on too? I don't see Edward on.
Oh, he's not on.
Okay, so I just wanted to formally introduce Jason and Anthony to everybody in the downtown core. We have hired Winged Whale with regards to the digital Main Street project that we're working on. And Jason and Ed have been the lead in this project with regards to the digital transformational grant. And so they were out and about just prior to Christmas, and you guys reached out to, I don't know, most of our businesses in the downtown, so almost 300, I think. You guys did a great job. And I think we're at, what are we at, 43 grants, Jason? Is it 43 or 34? I can't remember the
I think
number.
it's up to I think it's up to 43. You mentioned it yesterday, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
43?
Yeah, 3.
So, which is amazing. So that represents, 43 times 2,500. That's a lot of dollars in regards to digital dollars that have come into our downtown through the Digital Main Street grant. And for the next 6 weeks, they're going to be offering digital marketing workshops. So today we're going to kickstart these workshops. They're going to be 30 minutes long, and then the rest of the workshop for the hour will be Q&A for you. And today we're going to start on how to build a digital strategy. So I'm going to leave it at that. Jason and Anthony, it's all yours now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Susie.
Yeah, thanks, Susie. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick, and just let me know if you guys are able to see my screen right now.
Yep.
Awesome. So this first webinar, as Susie said, is about defining a personalized digital strategy. And this is just going to be the first of 7 webinars that we'll be doing every Wednesday, starting this Wednesday at 9 a.m. And we'll be going from the bottom up, starting with the very basics of how to define a personalized digital strategy. Next week, we'll be going into how to introducing social media, so giving you an overview of the interface and how to really get the most out of it using your business accounts, as well as how to choose the right platform for your business. The following webinar will be about social media management. So this is where we start to get into the free softwares and tools to help your business really thrive in an e-commerce environment, and then some best practices to use hand in hand with these tools. The following webinar will be an intro to SEO, as well as how to buy ad space on Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram, and YouTube. And then webinar 5 will be about image editing software. Of course, if you have Photoshop, that's also a very viable tool. But the name of the game here for our webinars is to present to you guys free softwares that you can use to help your e-commerce and digital assets. And webinar 6 will be about project management software, where it'll allow you to streamline your initiatives across team members, and you're able to push those initiatives forward in a streamlined method. And finally, the last webinar will be about email marketing services using MailChimp. And as Susie said, half the portion of the time we have today will be about just giving the information, and then the remainder of the time will just be getting an FAQ, Q&A, just kind of getting any questions answered on live right now. So the overview of today's webinar, we'll be going over how to assess your current assets, which is basically just going over how to really see where your business stands right now. The second step is about identifying your target market. As sure as all of your business owners, you guys know or have done this already. This is just kind of adapting that original kind of approach into a more digital mindset. The next thing that we'll be covering is that determining marketing objectives or KPIs. And then once we have those 3 components, we go into about how to create and execute on the strategy. We'll also entail an example about this, and at the very end, we'll also entail the resources that we have available to you guys today. So to begin all this, starting from the bottom, we have to really define what is a digital strategy. So that's basically a business's overall game plan to attract potential clientele by effectively communicating the benefits of their business through a digital platform. So you can do this through a lot of ways, by building your socials. You're engaging with your users on the platform. Your intention might be to build a loyal customer base, to build brand awareness, advertising promotions, and all these other things. And these are some of the things that we want you to keep in mind while you're thinking about how you want to spend your grant money when you're promoting your ads. How do you want to really streamline that? So to do this and how to assess your current assets, we recommend a SWOT analysis. I'm sure some of you have heard about this, but in case you haven't, we'll just go over this in a very, very nice way. So a SWOT analysis is, as you see in this table, how you'd basically assess your current business. So you'd analyze what you have on hand. So if your business has a Facebook page that's active, but an inactive Instagram page, or if your business has a Google My Business page that's not been claimed yet, you kind of have to just do an audit of what your business currently has, and you'd put it under your strengths table. So under the first platform here, strengths and opportunities tactics, you really want to put in everything and anything in your business that would be answering the question, how can you leverage your business's strength to maximize future opportunities? So like I said before, you have a Facebook account set up for business. You're verified on Instagram. Those are all strengths and opportunities that can help your business thrive in an e-commerce environment. The next on the right here, strengths, threats, tactics. This is the part where you really want to think about how you can leverage your business's strengths to minimize the impact on potential threats. So from my own personal experience, I used to work for a direct mail company. And one of the issues we had was a lot of people, how we delivered our mail to our clients is through Canada Post. And the biggest issue was our envelopes were plastic wrapped. Now, at the time that the company I was at, they were very environmentally friendly, but the consumer habit was when they hear plastic, people get very cautious about the environmental hazards. So that's an example of what you would put under a threat. How we made it so that we leverage it based on our strength is we had a very strong social presence. So one of the things that we put in this section here is, okay, we know and we're anticipating that consumers are going to have a worry about our eco-friendliness. We're going to use our social to leverage it and saying, hey, using these socials, we're saying about we understand these are the concerns of the consumer and that our plastic is eco-friendly, and here are the reasons why. You can leverage that kind of example for your specific business. In the bottom left is weakness and opportunities. So here you want to ask yourself, how can you leverage potential opportunities to minimize your business's shortcomings? One of the biggest things that I've noticed, and as I've done some digital transformation plans with you guys, is a lot of the things is about feedback from consumers. Now, this is where you have to be really careful, and you should really add that in this section when you're doing your audit. Is you want to really take a step back and see if you're really responding back to customer feedback. That can be on your Google My Business reviews, on your Facebook reviews. If they're commenting saying, great, I love it, definitely comment back. If you're saying I wasn't too happy about it, make sure you're commenting back. If you're not really doing that or you're finding it a bit spotty, this is an example of what a weakness opportunity tactic point would be. And that's something you want to work towards. On the final section here, it's about how you minimize your business's shortcomings to mitigate potential threats. So this is another example of where you're trying to anticipate potential shortcomings, such as a lot of my business is done in store, but because of coronavirus, I have to switch over to a digital platform. So making jot notes of these are the things that I need to be aware of can come a long way when it comes to actually understanding how to design a digital strategy for yourself. So these are just the arrow points pointing towards these sections here.
Before you continue, Anthony, I just wanted to make a note. So in the section where Anthony just mentioned kind of customer feedback and commenting on people's comments, one of the things that you want to make sure is that you're not going to get into an argument on your social media channel with your customer, right? So you have to be very careful with the comments that you're going to provide for your customer feedback. And typically the approach you want to do is try and take any negative feedback offline, which means, appreciate their feedback and then try and get them to respond to you again via email or a phone call, so that you're not going down this rabbit hole of arguing with a customer about, oh, well, they didn't do this, or, you know, it was your fault, you used our product wrong, or things of that nature. You want to make sure that you're going to appreciate their feedback, let them know that you value that, but then take the conversation offline, because nothing looks worse than when you get into an argument with a customer, because at the end of the day, any other customer that's looking at that thinks the customer is always right. And you're just going to look real bad with an argument that goes a long way down your social feed.
So just to add on to great point, Jason, one of the biggest points that I like to add on is that with reviews, like Facebook and Google My Business, it's usually a 5-star rating. Now, the best practice for reviews, and I'll go more in depth into it when we go into the intro to social media component next week, but just a little quick gist is that usually you want to respond to every review, regardless if it's positive or negative, right? Because it shows that you really care about your clients and your customers. So if the person gives you a 5 or 4-star, say thank you for your feedback, and that's great. That's all you need to do. If it starts going to the 3-star, 2-star, 1-star rating, that usually means that the customer wasn't satisfied with the experience. At that point, like Jason said, take it away by having, what's a good way of doing is having a preemptive script that you can kind of adapt to each situation, where you go like, hey XYZ, we apologize for the inconvenience. Why don't you contact us here and we can discuss more about this specific issue. That way you take it away from the social, away from the public eye, and you're able to understand, was it a fault on our end where we can improve on, or was it just a miscommunication? The next step is that once you've done your audit of your own personal business, the next step is to identify your target market. So this determines whom you should be expanding your reach towards. Because when you're using your grant money for ad buy, you're building a website, you want to tailor it towards a specific audience. So how you do this is you want to find certain trends and quirks and other behavioral factors that can help identify your niche audience. So the main 4 factors are age, location, language, and other behavioral patterns. So you want to start, a good starting set is to assess your current existing customer base, taking notes of any trends you recognize from the above factors, and then from there you can compile what's called a buyer persona. So a buyer persona is a detailed description of someone who represents your target audience. So you're trying to embody all of these traits into one representation and individual. Now keep in mind, this individual is not a real customer, but a fictional representation that embodies the characteristics of your best potential customer. This gives the persona a name, a demographic detail, interests, behavioral traits that reflect your niche market. And I'll go into detail about how to do that, an example of it after. The next step is to determine marketing objectives or key performance indicators. Now, the best way to do this is to follow what we call an acronym called SMART goals. Okay, so you want every goal you set, every amount of money you put into Google Ad Buy, every initiative you do for your socials to be a step forward to achieving this SMART goal. Now, a SMART goal is defined by the acronym. Specific, meaning that you want it to be as specific as possible. Measurable, which means you're able to definitively quantify what this is. You want it to be achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So a very good example is SMART goal would be, I want to increase my website traffic from our socials by 25% in 2 months. It's specific to website traffic. It's measurable because we want to aim for a 25% increase. It's achievable because depending on your business and the numbering, it can be achievable. It's relevant to e-commerce because socials are a huge part of your e-commerce initiatives, and it's time-bound to 2 months. Now, this is an example of a SMART goal. You can play around with numbers as you wish, and it's up to you how you want to determine that. So when it comes to creating and executing on a strategy, the name of the game here is to design creatives and captions to best appeal to your target audience. And when I mean by creatives, I mean original content. That can mean you taking out your smartphone and taking a picture of your storefront, or taking a picture of your newest shipments or your newest pastries, your newest product line. Those are all things that can be considered creatives. You want to ensure that the customer journey from start to finish is as smooth as possible. The customer journey is essentially, if I were to approach your business as a customer, what is my experience going to be like? So if I hear about, Jason's shoe store, what's the first thing I'm going to do? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Google this and see what are other people saying, which is why, going back to that previous conversation, why reviews are so important. You look at the reviews, you're seeing, okay, he's responding to his customers, he cares about his customer base. You look at their website, okay, that just authenticates your business. You see how smooth it runs. And then afterwards, look at the socials. Maybe they're posting something fun. Maybe they're posting a promotional code that I can use for my next purchase. These are all things you want to kind of keep in mind when you're kind of just going through that customer journey. You really want to take advantage of these free tools and resources in the execution phase, which will explain more in the coming webinar weeks. The rule of thumb when you're kind of creating and executing on your strategy is something that we like to call the rule of three. This is basically how you want to interact with how you want to behave on social using your business account. So a third of your interaction should be interacting with your users, meaning you want to be liking other people's posts relevant to your industry. You want to be commenting, that looks great, can't wait to see this, or can't wait to try it out. A third of your interaction should also be sharing relevant posts to your industry. So if you're a consumer line of products if you're selling jeans, for example, maybe there's a new kind of material that's more relevant, definitely sharing that, or new shipping material or methods. That's another thing you can show as well. A last third of your interaction should be posting your original content. And like I said before, this is where you post your storefront or things that really make you stand out. So we're going to put all of this together into a scenario now. And this is going to kind of give you a detailed case study as to how what we just said kind of fall into place. So we'll take Chase here, for example. Chase is the owner of a bakery store in downtown Brampton. So now he's going to first do a SWOT analysis. He's going to do a deep dive on his current business. He's going to research his target market and see what he's lacking, what he needs to do, and all that kind of stuff. Chase only has a Facebook setup for his business, a Google My Page, and a website. And he's discovering that he has a lot of Facebook reviews, but not too many on Google My Business. He also notices that a trend where most of his business occurs in the first few hours of him opening between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it dies down after lunchtime. He then goes and looks at his following base on Facebook, so all the people who are following his Facebook business account. And he notices that a significant number of followers are yoga enthusiasts, and most of them are 50 plus in age, and they're female and mainly Caucasian. He also notices that many of these people are active on Instagram. Chase further notices that at the local community center in Brampton, that there's a series of yoga classes being scheduled starting at 6:30 a.m. and the last one at 1:30 p.m. So then from this information, he extrapolates his buyer persona. So he creates a buyer persona where this individual, his ideal market is female, age 50 plus, lives in Brampton, Ontario, enjoys early morning yoga, speaks primary English and other subsequent languages as well for bilingual, and likes to use Facebook as well as Instagram. From here, Chase sets the following SMART goals. He wants to increase Google My Business reviews by 20 in the next 2 months, and he wants to increase Facebook interactions by 10% in the next month. Now keep in mind, again, these are SMART goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time-bound. Now that he's gotten that goal set, he's going to develop a strategy to kind of just push and achieve those goals. So Chase decides to test run a new hours of operation for his bakery, where he's going to open up at 6 a.m. rather than 9 a.m. And he's going to close at 2 p.m. rather than 4 p.m. to correlate with the local community center's yoga class time, just to see if the correlation of he's anticipating the behavioral pattern of his niche market audience, where are they coming from yoga and eating afterwards here or whatnot? So then Chase also decides to start a 10% off promotion that provides discounts to customers who leave reviews on his bakery's Google My Business. This is to incentivize further reviews being posted, both positive and, things positive and constructive feedback, as well as decides for the 5% off promo for those who will follow and like his Facebook's business page. This is a way for him to get more traffic to his social, which increases his brand awareness. So to execute on his personal strategy, he will post his new hours of operation for his bakery, as well as his new promotions he'll be running. Chase decides to use Canva, an image editing software, to create an easy-to-read creative that details all this information. She also decides to boost this post on Facebook and Google, and to create an Instagram account for his bakery and post his promotion there as well. And that's where you can kind of put your some of your grant funding into when you want to post certain posts that you want people to really see. That's how you would do that. And as well, Chase decides to do this for 2 months to see if he'll achieve the 2 SMART goals that he has set. So from there, that's the takeaway from it, right? You want to determine a target market, you want to set your SMART goals, and you want to set those KPIs and to monitor those progress. In later webinars, we'll go into detail about how you can actually get metrics as to whether or not you're on track to achieve your SMART goals. But those are the 3 points to take away. So before we take any questions, we're just going to go over some resources that we're going to provide for you guys today. So the first one that we're going to provide for you guys is the Digital Presence Improvement Guide. And this is a very detailed guide that kind of outlines these following points. And you'll all be receiving that via email or another medium today. And if you want to take a read through it, read it all, read certain parts of it, by all means. But the main point here is to extrapolate what you need from each section that's relevant to your business. And then taking whatever you can from this and adapting it to your business model. So Jason and I will kind of initiate that kind of push shortly after this webinar. The next one is a Google rep that we have been talking with. So this is for any business who's spending at least $13 a day on Google Ads or $309 a month. So Jared is the campaign support representative from Google. And what would happen is if you guys are spending at least that $13 a day, we encourage you to reach out to us, Jason or myself, via email or our contact info that's posted on the next slide. And essentially, we'll get you in touch with Jared, who will help you create your first YouTube or Google ad campaign. He'll help adapt your campaign to your budget, and as well as give valuable tips and insights specific to your business. Otherwise, you guys can contact him there. But just keep in mind that the cutoff there is you need to spend $13 a day on Google Ads. That's the cutoff. And finally, of course, the support you have is from Jason, myself, and Jeremy. But if you guys need to contact us, feel free to email us at info@wingedwheelmedia.com or call us on our cell phones on the above, as you can see there. And next week, we'll be going through an intro to social media and how to kind of understand the interface and how to really take it to the next level. Are there any questions?
So that was a lot of information. We know that's a lot of information to kind of throw at everybody in kind of the 20-30 minutes there, but we wanted to make sure that we give everybody enough time to bring forward their own questions about their own business so that we can kind of discuss that a little bit.
Okay. Any questions whatsoever in regards to help you guys out? If not, you guys can always email us back or contact us through our phone numbers, and then we can get forward to you guys. Otherwise, we can just move on and present you guys a toolkit later today.
So Susie, Gretel had a comment too.
Hi. I just wanted to talk about, setting realistic goals with numbers, because I think all of us get, we get so busy with different things, and I think most people know how to do social media marketing today. maybe they don't understand how to read the metrics of, is this performance figure good or bad? So I wanted to talk, maybe you could give us some tips on setting some realistic goals, or with eliminating, oh, we did it, the campaign was great. Well, what does that mean? Like by supporting it with evidence, with numbers, to say, okay, well, our Taste of Brampton, I'll use BIL, taste, our winter Taste of Brampton, we'd like to build our, Instagram followers by 5%. And, what does that represent? That might be too much, and then see if that's actually realistic. Or, you talked about building a loyal customer base and new revenue streams. And so I don't know. I always find that part, I mean, it's not that complicated. It's something sometimes we maybe we fail to do. And we've got lots of numbers. There's Google Analytics, there's impressions on Instagram, there's numbers on Facebook. And then you can even, measure your email campaigns through the click rates and real call to action. Like, I'm just thinking of some of the things we're working on, like our BIE gift card. So just wondered if you could share any advice to everybody on today's call.
Yeah, so great question, Susie. The best advice I can give you is that every single SMART goal will be different based on your business to begin with. But on the baseline, the biggest thing you want to really compare is if you had any previous campaign that is from last year or in a previous quarter to compare to. It doesn't even have to be on a digital front. So for example, if you've done a promotional offer every time for Black Friday or on Boxing Day, and you haven't had any kind of social push last year, for example, you can kind of determine a SMART goal just from seeing, okay, this year I'm going to make a social push. I'm going to boost this ad post that's going to tell people in Brampton that I have a certain promotion going on. From there, I'm going to see, is there a change in my revenue? Am I getting more money during this time where I'm running this promotion or not? That's the biggest example I can give you if you're going from a non-digital standpoint and comparing it to a now digital standpoint. If you've already ran a promotion online before last year and you're comparing it to this year's, you really want to look at your overall impressions and your overall engagements. Those two words might sound a bit wonky. So impressions are essentially how many people have seen your ad on Facebook or whatever social platform. Engagement is the term that references how many people have commented or interacted with your post, whether they've liked it, commented, shared, clicked on it. So you want to kind of compare that as well as seeing how many people have clicked on your link, right? Because at the end of the day, your customer journey for your socials is you want to, have, if you post a promotional code on your Facebook or Instagram page, you want them to use it on their purchase. So you want to track the customer journey from going, okay, X amount of people have seen my promotional code, but how many people have actually visited my website? And how many people have used this promo code that's specific to my socials? And that's how you kind of track those metrics and going from there. Does that answer your question, Susie?
Well, I think just to add on to that, I mean, if you are just based on the impressions and the interactions, if you're creating a piece of creative like an ad and you get 10,000 impressions, but you only get 10 engagements, that's an opportunity to observe, maybe there's something wrong with your actual creative. Maybe, your ad itself is not, written properly, or, it's a broken link, or so it'll give you a reference point to check back. I mean, I think one other important thing is that, sometimes it's difficult to gauge, should I do 5% increase or a 10% increase? And I think one of the things to remember is that if you just start with, say, 5%, and then you in a month smash that, and let's say you do 50%, there's nothing to stop you from the next month upping the ante and doing that again, saying, you know what, we're going to shoot for 40%. Let's see if we hit 50% again. So it's don't be afraid to make the goals and either smash them or even under deliver on them. If you set a goal for 50% increase and you only get 5%, well, now you have something as a new reference point to look at so that you can help determine, well, why did I only get 5% and not 50%? Maybe
Yeah.
50 was unrealistic, or I'm only getting so many impressions, so I'm only going to get 5%. So like there's an area there for you to kind of scope out your business, see what you've done with your creative, and see where some of those pitfalls might lie, so that then you can begin to filter down and see what a reasonable key performance indicator is, right? And then you'll understand, okay, last year we did this campaign, we got 20%. This year, let's see if we can get 25%, right? And just kind of increment it up. And if you smash the goal, amazing, raise the bar the next level, right? If you underperform, check to see maybe where the bar was set and reduce it, right?
Right. No, thank you. I just I think, because it's a new year, I'm, just trying to myself for our own benefit for the BIA, like how do we, everybody needs to set some goals that have with an evidence base with numbers. So you actually know how well you are doing or not doing. And, sort of like it's almost like looking in the mirror and going, okay, well, and sometimes the campaigns won't work, right? Like that's just sort of the learning curve of, XYZ marketing campaign or business initiative that you're doing. So I know Gretel had her hand up too.
Mm-hmm.
Gretel,
Go ahead, Gretel.
Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question. A couple of years ago, I heard that offering certain amount of money or offering discounts to your customers to leave reviews on your social media is not as great practice to do. Had that changed in the last month or year? Is that okay as well? Love.
So, do you know where did you, out of curiosity, where did you hear that, where it wasn't as good?
I really don't remember. But I hear it from different people in workshops and seminars. And if you talk to people, some of other colleagues so also maintain the same position. So I'm curious if that had changed.
So, for my understanding, as well as I've done this for other businesses, as well as for my where I used to work full time at the Direct Bell company as well. At the name of the game is you have to kind of understand where the customer is coming from. Now, the biggest thing to point out is that without incentives, people that typically leave reviews are people who've had a negative experience, right? So you want to add a kind of promotion in order to get them to, leave a positive review so that it gives you that authenticity on Google My Business or Facebook. In terms of an SEO standpoint, where it affects your search engine optimization, there is no negative effect if you choose to use a discount code to promote them, but you are certainly not limited to using discount promotions to incentivize people. There's in terms of what's been negative, I don't see any kind of negative implication on a digital standpoint, because that's not how SEO computes, right? It just sees how many reviews you have. They don't really take into account how you've gotten those reviews, provided those reviews come from an actual source that's legitimate.
So it doesn't sound like you're buying your customers.
No, it doesn't sound like you're buying your customers at all, because the other flip of that coin is, realistically, how the concern is there is that they don't want to look at fake accounts posting reviews. And that using a discount code is not how they check that. How Google or Facebook authenticates if a review is authentic or not is they look at the Google account that's making the review or the Facebook account making a review, and are seeing how long ago was this account activated, what was the activity, how many reviews has it left. Those are the things that it looks at when authenticating the legitimacy of a review, not so much what the business is doing to get those reviews. If that answers your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a red flag. We can take it as a green flag now.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
10% off.
Okay.
10% off. leave a good review, like us on Facebook, leave 10% off, like that. That stuff is all fair game. This will not affect you negatively in any way with algorithms of Google or Facebook as of today.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And ask your previous clients to leave a review too. They don't necessarily need to buy something in order to leave a review. You know, you could just phone up any of your, or send an email to any of your client base now and just say, hey, we'd love to receive a review from you. You can offer a promotional code, but there's nothing to prevent you from just asking for reviews from your clients.
Yeah.
Usually they surprise me, and that's the great feeling. I never offer anything, but it's nice when you just get it because they really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are the best, but don't hesitate to ramp up the number you get by just asking.
Excellent. Yeah,
Right.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'm not too familiar with some of the people on right now. I don't know if anybody wants to introduce themselves and their business.
It's a bit early.
Okay. I think you know Larissa, right? You guys know Larissa?
We know Larissa.
Okay. I know we've got Karen Darling on the call. I don't know if she's if she wants to unmute herself. She owns a gallery just off of John Street. Okay. And then we've also got, I saw the owner from the Flowertown laundromat on here. I guess maybe I don't see him anymore. Is he still on the call, Tegan? Can you see Tuan?
Yeah, he's still on the call.
Okay, great. Sorry, it's not coming up anymore on my screen. And then we've also got Janelle.
I believe they're from PAMA.
Yes, that's
Okay,
me.
great.
I'm
Sorry.
from PAMA, yes, the marketing coordinator.
Hi,
And I
Janelle.
also have a personal business as well, so this is helping on both ends.
Great.
Okay. Did you have any questions? Did you want to offer any insight or?
I'm still thinking. I might pipe up in about 2 minutes.
Okay. So I mean, I think just kind of one of the main things is that, I mean, from our work with Digital Main Street, we found a lot of businesses that didn't have a real prominent digital presence, and so one of the main things is just to get started, right? Just go for it. Don't be afraid about setting your KPIs. Just go for it and begin to see where it takes you, and then refine your process from there, right?
Just to add what Jason said as well is that we're here to help you guys out, and if you guys have any questions in terms of how to find a strategy relevant to your business specifically, how to go about setting up a Facebook account, all that kind of stuff, we're here to help set up that infrastructure for you guys. So keep that in mind that if you need that support, it's there for you as well.
I tried to drop the manual that we put together into the chat, but it wasn't letting me. So I don't know if Tegan or Susie, you're able to, but this document here lays out a lot of the kind of steps that need to be taken and the information. And we'll be able to blast that, and hopefully we can put it up on the BIA site. But this will give everybody kind of some of that foundational groundwork. This call is being recorded, but if you wanted, you could go back to that document and just kind of look things up and see what we were talking about and see some of the examples that Anthony had written in there.
So Jason, is that the 57-page document you had sent us?
Yeah.
So that is attached to this meeting invite. So if you go into the calendar invite you received, it's attached to there. For some reason, I can't get it attached to the website. I think it might be too big.
Okay. Well, we can work on the format for that.
I will try and pull it up. Is there a particular page you want us to go to, Jason, while I'm pulling it up?
No, not necessarily. I just wanted to. I didn't know if everybody had seen the document in the email invite, or if I just wanted them to make them aware of the session or of the resource.
Right.
So
yeah.
that even after the session, they can ask for the recording, or they can go back to the document and look at kind of the first section, because the document really reflects a lot of what we're going to be talking about in the sessions, plus more information. So that's
That's
just
a great document. Thank you for putting that together. I went through it last night. I didn't have a chance when you sent it over, but it's a really good tool for business owners. So it's called, the 2020 Digital Presence Improvement Guide. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. And yeah, it's like an awesome platform or tool for, which goes through so many different components of building a digital strategy and choosing the right platform. And then it goes into how to buy ad space, best practices, and a number of resources that you can use, including Hootsuite, Linktree, Canva, MailChimp, GoDaddy, Yoast, Dropbox, Bitly. I've never used Bitly. Trello and Pexels. And then there's also references in this guide of different marketing businesses and different specialties. So, what you're, if you're looking for, I'll just scroll down because I looked through it yesterday. It's a great doc, guys. Well done. Hold on.
So the biggest thing I can point out is the step-by-steps. We've outlined exactly how to do all the ad buy, and we have screenshots to reference, a step-by-step how to do it. As well, the glossary at the very end outlines basically, I know a lot of the words might be different or unfamiliar. So the glossary, which is on page 45, that one is where we kind of start going through all of the terms that would be e-commerce related, just to kind of get you guys in that kind of lingo mindset, be able to understand what those words are, as we're saying them through the webinars, and as you're seeing these words pop up in your metrics page, which we'll go over in the next few weeks. You'll start to familiarize yourself with these terminologies. In terms of the references, these are just really reference points in regards to the dimensions. One of the biggest issues that you'll come across when you're making creatives is making sure that the dimensions of your actual image conform to the dimensions that are specified on each platform. And speaking from my own experience, it's an absolute nightmare trying to figure out, okay, I have one picture I need for my Facebook profile page, but it won't look the same way if I put it on my LinkedIn or put it on my YouTube. So easiest way to do that is when you've made the page is you just conform to the pixel dimensions that are listed under the references and just input it as you're exporting the image, and you'll be good to go. One final thing to note as well is on the very end, we have a vendors list, where if you need someone for a certain e-commerce service, such as search engine management, search engine optimization, web design, social media management, search media engine management, and website analytics, and graphic design, we've provided a list of companies, their website, their contact information for you guys to reference that you can use your grant money towards, and they can help you out on a specific one-on-one basis.
That's a great guide. Thank you, guys. It's very, very comprehensive, lots of data and information. And I like, some of the templates you've set up with regards to the social media content strategy and whatnot. So, so people can utilize these templates, of course, with long-term planning. So anybody have any questions? So next week, let's talk about the second workshop. That's going to be next Wednesday, same time, 9 to 10, Jan 27. And we're going to be going every Wednesday until, I believe it was March the 3rd, we said? Yeah. And so next Wednesday's topic is, I don't have it in front of me. What is the second topic?
So it's going to be the introduction to social media and choosing the right platform. So this is where I'll be doing a demo of what your Facebook's looks like right now. What are some of the functions that you can use, as well as some neat features to really make your account pop. So that could be story features, highlights, all that kind of stuff.
Great. Okay. with regards to, just this is more of a question to Jason and Anthony, with regards to all the outreach that you guys did with Digital Main Street and the transformational grant, what was the feedback, or do you, I don't know if you guys can answer this today, because I know some of the businesses are just getting ready to get their grant, but was there some commonality in different projects? Like, are businesses looking at rebuilding a website or redoing social media campaigns and content, or is it all over the map?
I know for my own outreach, it was a lot of building website, retooling website. I think that was probably the main kind of factor. I mean, there were quite a few in my groupings that didn't have any social media whatsoever, so that'll be something that needs to be brought online. But I think one of the main tools was building a website. And I mean that was for some businesses that didn't have an e-commerce, so they're just kind of service-based businesses that weren't selling anything necessarily online. But just as a heads up, and I know we talked to most of the businesses about this, if you are selling product online, one of the projects for Digital Main Street is the Shop Here program, where they will build you a e-commerce website for free.
Yes.
So if you are looking to sell anything online, these people will build it for you for free. They will pair you with a designer. You will have 6 weeks with a designer that you can go back and forth with, and they will build you your e-commerce website for free. So if that is something that you are considering, and based on your business, you more than likely should be, that is something you should look into. I know the program closes, I think, March 31st. I'd have to double check. But that is definitely something you should reach out to. Let us know if you need help with it. We will set you up with Shop Here, get you their contact information, and you can reach out to them directly.
Great. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good program. And then if you team it up with the transformational grant and you rebuild a website and then you add in your e-commerce, it's like easily a $5,000 to $7,000 marketing expense that's being covered through these programs at the provincial level. So
yeah.
Yeah. I think Tion wanted to say something. He's got his hand up. Oh, you're on mute.
Juan, did you have a comment you wanted to make? Okay.
Maybe you could use the chat function at the top. There's a little, it's a second icon in. So it's just on the, right beside where it says hide participants. Not sure if you can see that. Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, if
Okay, so maybe we should just reach out to him after. I can call you after this workshop, or Jason, maybe, we can we'll follow up with that. We're close to 10 o'clock. So did anybody have any other questions or comments to share back to Jason and Anthony for today's workshop?
If anything, I would just say, invite other people to the workshops. The more people we have on here, the better the learning process is. That way we can kind of all share a collective experience with our businesses and learn from one another. So if you're in contact with any of the other businesses, by all means, invite them out, and we can kind of learn from each other.
And keep in mind, next week's webinar is same time, Wednesday, at 9 a.m.
Well, thank you guys. This has been very informative. I would recommend if you've got time for those businesses on the call to do a little bit of homework with regards to kind of committing to some time to build the strategy, because I think time is always the big, finding the time to actually plan stuff in advance and I know it's really hard right now with everything that's going on with the lockdown, but even if you can dedicate 1 to 2 hours a week to build your digital strategy and explore some of these new platforms that have been mentioned, it'll get easier as if you sort of like working out, like we were talking about earlier today. So put definitely invest some time into your digital strategy for your business, because it'll go a long way.
It's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, guys, and I hope to see you guys next week.